All right. So, welcome. This is the comprehensive beginner's attempt at doing some freaking Levidras stuff. Brought to you by yours truly. um, Excuse me. So, yesterday we had Levidras revealed to us, and then yesterday afternoon they put Levidras into into CFA. And so CFA now has Levidras, which means obviously I'm going to do everything in my power to test him. So bear with me as I wander around with this microphone trying to make sure that I'm getting the right range. But yeah, let's go ahead and start because we already know what everything does. We're going to go ahead and start making a Levidras list. Okay, we're going to... Whoa! Sorry, they get random shit in here all the time, and sometimes. We're just going to start by making the ride line. We're going to start with his ride line and 4 copies of him. And then we're going to start looking at support cards and what may potentially come up. There's Mantis, or that's the Scorpiercer, and then Mantis Scythe Dragon is on this one. I I have to say I love the art of this deck. I was nervous, to say the very least. Mantis dragons that are bugs. At first I was like, like dragonflies are cool, but like I'm a little nervous. Maybe this dragon isn't going to be the coolest thing in the world, because I was looking at Levidras and I'm like, he looks cool, but if the rest of the deck don't look cool, right? So like that would suck. So, cool. We've got our ride line. We know what it does. Obviously, this is going to Energy Blast 3 to find us a card. This is going to cause it so that we don't have to discard. It's just free plussing in a ride line. You're going to Counterblast 1 every turn for your Vanguard, and then obviously you're going to Soul Blast 1 once a game for his ability. So there's 1 Soul Blast. We'll keep a marker, or keep an idea as to how much we're using here on that. So getting rid of the ride deck stuff, we're just going to go ahead and set up with some generic triggers. I'm going to start with my favorite heal. Actually, no, the Butterfly Girl would be like a lot more fitting here. So Butterfly Girl, but I have shinies of this. I'm doing Zlat. He's shinier. in physical person. We're going to do 3 of this because I have 3 copies of that. And I'm just going to start with draws because you're going to have back row attackers. And then I'll try crits later, or not crits, I'll try fronts later if I so need. And then I think I'm just going to go with Bless Favor. Bless Favor is a extremely good generic over trigger that you don't particularly like ever not want to see. It gives your front row power, it gives you crit, it gives you 100 million, it gives you a heal if you need. It's got everything. So Bless Favor, if if we're calling any over trigger design good design, that would be the one. And so then let's go over to the rest of the generics. Where's Honeycomb Thyreus? There she is. 3 of her, and then we're gonna come up here, go to Cray, go there, and then we'll come back to. I'll just do this one because it's shiny as well. And then we'll come back to Regardless Pieces later when we get to the grade 3s. That's if we want to run any. So looking at his support, we've got the Counter Charger. I'm just going to add 1 of everything, and then we'll decide numbers later. This guy, which is going to make multi-attack happen, obviously, like I'm almost certain we're going to run like 4 copies of him. I don't know if there was any other grade 1s. Was there other grade 1s? I don't think there was. I think there was just grade 2s. So then coming over to the grade 2s, where I use, this would be easier if I knew like their names and I could just type them all in. I know the ride line's names, but I haven't memorized everything else yet. Oh well, woe is me. Her, she's his support. He's his support. I think that was everything. Pretty sure that was basically everything that he had revealed, so that's pretty cool. Coming over here, he also had his order. So let's pretend we're just running this, right? Let's max out on everything we have here. So we come out to 47 cards, leaving us with what? 7 additional cards. So we're going to start with this kind of like generic start line and go off of here. So first and foremost, we've got this, which is going to gain power. We've got this, which is going to gain power and be able to attack from the back row. This, which is going to give us countercharge, whether it attacks or battle or boosts. This is what's going to give us multi-attack without him. And this is drop zone reoccurrence. So the first thing that I can see is this one costs Energy Blast 2, this costs Energy Blast 3, this costs Energy Blast 3. If you're going first, you ride up, you don't get energy. You ride up, you get 3 energy. You ride up, you get 3 more energy. You've got 6 energy. So for that first turn, you don't have to. You're most likely going to do this, and then you have to decide between these two. Which sucks, because this one's free field, and this one is just free advantage. So obviously, you're most likely going to go with this one, because whatever you call probably gets 10k. So that's something. This deck uses a lot of energy, so maybe there's room for, what's her name? Levidras, who is an energy charge of 2 every time you need to place it. He's not a tier dragon, right? He's a forest dragon. Good. That would be insane. Just free power. One of the other things that you'll notice is that doesn't use soul. In fact, it soul charges. Doesn't use soul. Doesn't use soul. Doesn't use soul. Doesn't use soul. Uses soul. So maybe we can benefit off of some like insane soul blast costs, or some heavier soul blast costs potentially, like spiritual body condensation, instead of more copies of this. So we're gonna just bounce these back to 1 to see where we can go, right? I think there was like one other one that's like soul blast 2. Here's what we can do. Soul blast. Perfect. So we can see everything that soul blasts. So there's this one soul blasts, this one soul blasts when it boosts the Vanguard. That's average. I probably wouldn't want to do that because you want Foxil to be boosting your Vanguard. No. Maybe Frozen Resentment would be better than SBC, but SBC is probably better because power. When your other grade 1 or lesser card is retired by your card's ability, Soul Blast 2, draw a card. No, we don't have abilities that do that. Soul Blast 2, reveal the top card of your deck if it's a unit card. Call it. If it isn't, put it to your hand. That's something. When it boosts, if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, you're not going to be boosting much. If you have everything set up perfectly, this one is going to make something over here stand, and this one's going to make itself attack. So that's something. Uh-oh. I'm going to pause for just a sec. I am having some work stuff go on. Okay, sorry about that. Back to all of this jazz. Work stuff can be a little stressful. So anyways, we're looking at Soul Blast costs. This one, Soul Blast 1, draw a card when placed on top of a rearguard circle with your other grade 1 or less rearguard. So that's more plant tokeny. Leonorn, Soul Blast, retire, top 3, choose 1, call it, discard the rest. Soul Blast 1 plus 2k for each of your rearguards. So if I have a full field of 5, it gains plus 10, which makes it a 16. When your other unit stands, no, don't really have that. That's Rotowa. End of the battle, it boosted Soul Blast 2, stand. Oh, that could be interesting. Okay, you hear me out. So, the idea here could be choose one of your back row rear guards until the end of the turn. That unit can attack from the back row and gets power plus 10k. So you could have something in your front row. It's going to be 10k plus Persona Ride, or we're just going to pretend it's 10k. 10k plus a 7k that's got an Infinity Eyes marker on it, so plus 17, plus 27, making this 37. End of battle, Soul Blast 2, stand, and then it can attack from the back row. That's something to consider. Let's go. We're looking good. We're doing good stuff. There's a ton of other things to consider with this, by the way. There's so much to consider. So you, Soul Blast 2, choose one of your other units, plus 10k until end of turn. Not bad. That's some good power I'm seeing. Excuse me. When card discarded, Soul Blast 2, Soul Blast 1, bind an order from your drop zone, call it to an open rearguard circle. That's okay. It's better in like retire matchups, so that's something. Soul Blast 1, discard an order card, draw a card, plus 5k, plus shield. No. You're not really going to be running a ton of order cards unless we decide to go like RPD. Kind of a Soul Blast boost, no. Soul Blast 2 plus 5 for each of your other rear guards. So if you've got a full board, what? 5, 10, 15, 20, that's 25, 30. This is a 30k attacker. Plus this, or if it's in the front row, whatever. That's not bad. When your other unit stands by a card ability, Soul Blast, no. Margaret's a potential option. Gobreg is a potential option, Soul Blast 1 plus 10k. But if you're doing that, why wouldn't you just do frickin' Tideline would also be a dragon, sorry. If you're gonna do Gobreg, why wouldn't you just do Fox and Pix? There we go. And we're most likely not running any of these. This one, all your grade 1, no. Yeah, none of those. Okay, cool. So then, just removing that, looking at some of the other cards that we could run, right? What else can we run? There's a lot. We could be running Inlet Pulse. We could be running like 5 or 6 orders and run RPD. And then obviously we could run Pompaladeo as a more defensive unit, which I think could be funny, but I don't think is going to be the best play. To say the very least, this guy on your front row, Persona Ride with a marker, is 33k. Nothing more, nothing less. Same thing as him. If you call him and give him 10k, he's 15, 25, 35. 35. So he's got 2k power over them. Alternatively, he could have 10k less, but also have a crit. These guys are banking on the rest of the deck giving them power. And then this guy, specifically, has to be in the front row to be defensive. So I'm going to go ahead and rule him out for now. As for Inlet Pulse, it's just draw. I'm going to rule him out for now as well. RPD, he's cool. However, if we come over here, there's a card I wanted to specifically look at, NPix. So NPix is going to help you into your retire matchups. He's going to give you a little bit of resist, and he's going to be 18 on his own, plus 10k from this makes 28. On a marker, that makes 38. That's a huge column. This is Magnolia time, baby. And then on top of that, Guinosa, excuse me. Also potential with him because he is going to give your other rearguards power. The difference between the two is that NPix gives you, I guess, sort of in a weird way, more defensive capabilities as well as roughly the same level of offensive capabilities that doesn't cost you a counterblast. And considering the fact this counterblasts, this counterblasts, this counterblasts, and this is the only counter charge we have, I'm going to go ahead and rule them out. So for now, for this deck, I'm going to remove RPD, put in 2 more copies of this, 2 more copies of this, 2 copies of that, and 1 more copy of that, and we're at 54 cards. So we're going to try this list, and we're going to see what cards feel useless, what cards don't feel useless. And so we're going to go Levidras 1. That's going to be deck list 1 from the video. So we're going to go ahead and pray that this isn't too loud. I'm hoping that I'm talking as loud or louder than the cards. So with this starting hand, I'm saying 1 back, draw 1, cool. Let's say I'm going to go heads, flip a coin. Heads, I'll be going first. So draw for turn, and we're like, get rid of N picks because we can bring it back with SBC. Ride, get the energy crest. We're going first, so we're not gonna energy charge. We'll pass turn. Let's say turn 1 and turn 2, we're gonna get 1 attack, 2 attack, and then turn 3 we're gonna get 4 attacks, and they're gonna be like decent. So we're gonna take this first damage. Power to Vanguard, poggers. Cool. It's now my turn again. Stand and draw. We've got Trigeminal Assault. Good card for sure. SBC might make it a little bit harder to use Trigeminal. But of course we've got the counter charger. So we're going to go ahead for this turn. We're going to get rid of the... No. We're going to use the Vanguard's ability. I don't have to discard. I'm just going to ride. And then I've got an energy charge of 3. So for this turn, my opponent's on grade 1. I'm thinking I want to do some damage. I'm going to go ahead and call this. And then I'm going to play SBC. We're going to Soul Blast out the starter. Call him. He's going to get 5k. And we're going to call the counter charger. And that seems like a lot, but I feel like with this deck, you really, really want to rush. It is Stoicheia, and you do have the options to rush, so we'll just see how this goes. And it's going to get me some drawback with this card, as well as with my ride line after this turn. So I'm going to drive check, swing a second time, cool, end turn. So you don't have a lot of guarding options. Basically, we're going to take the 2 damage this turn. I was going to say if I hit a trigger, I would put the power to my Vanguard and N picks would die. So we're just going to take 2 damage and go back to our turn. Like I said, this is all play pretend. So we have N picks, which is obviously a good guy on our board. Onfall and Autogaster is only multi-attack if I've got, what's it called? Or if my opponent has... Yeah, basically if I've used my divine skill. So we're going to go ahead and ditch to ride, because I still want to use his ability. We've got 6 energy, so we're going to Energy Blast 3 for the ride line. Check top 5, and it's add any card. Any of these. That being said, I think... Let's look at this turn. NPix isn't going to get power, but if I put this... I've got a Persona Ride for next turn. If I put this behind NPix, or behind a Notogaster, that would be good. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this, right? And then we'll be able to give it the abilities. So we're going to go ahead, Counterblast 1. Does he have... He doesn't have a way to make the markers yet. Okay, let me see. I don't remember how to, like... Yeah, I'll just use plant gauges for now. Cool. Silly. Yeah, we're going to put 1 here and then 1 on the opponent's field. I don't know how to get rid of that. Oops. Whatever. We'll just put that there. So I've got this rearguard circle. Actually, I guess I would probably put it on the back one because he's going to be the one restanding and multi-attacking. So I've got that. I'm going to go ahead and call this. There's 1 on this rearguard circle for my opponent. I will Energy Blast 3. Look at the top 2 cards in my deck. 1 to hand and 1 to top or bottom. So we've got PGs. Good. 1 to hand. And then we want defensive, so we're going to leave it on top. Oops. I hope I didn't just... Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll leave it on top so that way we can draw. And then he gains 5k. So then during turn, if grade 3 or greater, 3 or more. So yeah, don't get the second ability, but he gains 5k. So then we're going to call this, and then we're going to look at our power. So this isn't going to gain any power, sadly. He's not going to gain any of his ability. He's basically useless right now because I plan on doing this little guy to make this number bigger. I have the soul to do it. This is going to gain 5k because I have a Vanguard with Levidras, and then boost to grade 3 or greater Levidras, Infinity Eyes marker plus 2k. Yeah, So we're going to give him 2 more thousand. So basically, for this turn, we're looking at swing boosted, counterblast, give this 10k. Oh, it's also on the Infinity Eyes marker, so it's got another 10k. It's 27. Excuse me. So this is 28 twin drive. Drive 1, drive 2. Obviously, they probably guarded a little like more carefully. And I'll put the power back here, and we'll consider... Yeah, I would have only gotten them to 3 damage, so we're going to heal 1. It would probably be better to heal Gaster because he's actually... Like, we have a way of getting stuff from our drop zone. So yeah, put the power there because it's silly. If they get any damage, then I can swing at a rear guard with this, but if they don't, then cool, put that to soul countercharge. And then we can swing for a nice 52k. End of battle, Soul Blast 2, stand, and then swing for 37. So that makes these columns really big, but that makes this column really sad. What I'm thinking is maybe having the other grade 2 support that the deck has, maybe that would make this turn way better. So we're going to end our turn. We're going to take a damage, power to Vanguard, and I draw. That's perfect for me, obviously. I'm going to guard 1. I'm going to guard 2. Let's say he attacks a Notogaster, and we lose him. Yeah, it happens. Maybe we take another damage just to keep hand. Oh, rest in peace, Gaster. Should have listened to my gut. Oh well. So then we got our turn. Stand and draw. Another PG. Perfect. It's not perfect. Persona Ride. So looking at this, we've got 2 soul again, but we're going to use 1 for my Vanguard's ability. So realistically, NPix in the back row is the best way to go. So this is on a marker. I'm just going to make sure I don't forget it. NPix in the back row. Move him to the back row. He's got 10k for his own ability, and he'll be able to attack and get another 10k. Well, yeah, it chooses specifically a back row rear guard. Cool. This is end of battle at boosted, and this is end of battle attacked or boosted. So maybe I could leave this up here and use this as a combo to make this a big column. So then cool. We're going to counterblast 1. We're going to... I think I clicked this button. Put a plant gauge there to make this have 1, and then of course 1 over there. And then we're going to use the Vanguard's ability, Divine Skill. So last 1, 10k. 1 here to this guy, and then 1 over there somewhere. Oh, I forgot that we probably would have popped the marker. Oh well. Not the end of the world. This is going to have 7k for its own ability. This guy's on his own marker. So yeah, we're in a pretty good spot. We're going to go ahead and go to battle phase. We're going to swing, counterblast, give this guy the 10k, and the ability to attack from the back row. Right. Twin drive. Perfect. Draw trigger power there. Obviously, it's going to be the thing that gives us the most advantage. And then we're going to swing boosted. And our opponent might be like, what the hell is wrong with you? But this makes some really big column. So 55, put it to soul, countercharge, end of battle that it boosted, soul blast 2, stand. And then we can swing for 37. And then this guy's at 28, so this would also come in there somewhere. If we had another booster, that would make this guy a lot better. But these markers are really making up for the numbers thing. So I'm going to go ahead and come back over here to deck editor. I think if we're doing this guy, we might want to consider not using NPix. But also I feel like NPix just provides so much value in general. So what else could I play if I'm not running NPix? If I'm not running NPix, I don't want to run more soul blasting because obviously he's going to do his own thing. Alternatively, I could just not run him and see what happens. Let's try cutting him completely. What kind of 3 would we want to fit in? We could go with dual nation guards. This could call, and one of my orders would call. That would be 2 units that get plus 5k, but that's... We're not really having an issue with power. Right. So maybe we could go with Inlet Pulse, because Inlet Pulse on a Persona Ride turn on a marker is still 33k, which is pretty big. Pretty big. I do like draw triggers, though. I have to say. I like being able to give it to the back row rear guard. You know what? Let's go with freefield.jpg. We're going to go with RPD. Levidras 2. This is going to be a longer one. Sorry, guys. So cool. Yeah, we've got time for RPD. We're going to come over here. Shuffle up. I'm going to go Tails this time. Wow. Okay, it's going Tails with me. So I'll go first again. This time, I'm going to go ahead and bot deck 2, 3. Yeah, that's just guard power in the early game. So I don't really have an early game this game, which means I don't have a lot going on. So we're going to go ahead and start my turn, stand and draw. We'll ditch one Gaster, because I've got another. Ride, get an energy. Pass turn. We'll take 1 damage, just like last time. And picks. Hi, N picks. How you doing, buddy? Then my turn, stand and draw. I don't have to discard for ride. Boom. We're on grade 2. So then this specifically says if I have an Infinity Eyes marker. This one also says if I have an Infinity Eyes marker, meaning I can't really do much until my turn 3. I'm just going to call this back here and swing for 18. Try and really push some damage. Levidras, cool. Perfect. So it's now my opponent's turn. They're going to swing twice. I'll take 1. Let's say they also hit a trigger, and so I'll still guard. Stand, draw. We've got 3 Foxels. I can go ahead and discard 1 for ride. We're going to Energy Blast 3 for the ride line, because top 5 search for any card is insane. We'll go ahead and grab the PG, right? Because it just says any top 5 cards, 1 grade 3 or less card from among them, reveal it, put it in hand. Cool. Yeah, any card doesn't have any restrictions. You can put PGs, you can put orders, whatever. Perfect. So looking over here, we've got 1 Gaster in drop zone. We've got 3 energy, and we've got 1 order that we can't use this turn. This order may become like a sort of semi-issue later, right? So we've got Counter Charger, Counter Blaster. Let's see. If you have an Infinity Eyes marker, choose a grade 3 or less, call it. If you have 3 or more, plus 10k. Okay, so this is free field. This is free hand, but it costs energy. And these guys are my Counter Charge and Soul Charge. So we're going to go ahead and goop. We're going to put 1... Who am I going to have attacking from the back row this turn? Let's see. Probably him. So, yeah, we're going to go ahead and put it here. And then we can have this boost over here. Or this be attacking, whatever. Yeah. So we don't have to go uber hard on this turn. So we're going to go ahead and call Huli. Counterblast 1. Oh, in the same column. So maybe I would put it on the opponent's side over here. Counterblast 1. Choose your grade 3 or less card from my drop zone and call it. When placed, it just has to be placed. So I can then call this here. I don't have 3 or more Infinity Eyes, so it doesn't matter. We're going to Energy Blast 3. Look at the top 2 cards. Oop, not 3, 2. 1 to hand, Persona Ride, and then bot deck the other. So now we have locked ourselves out of using the order. He gains 5k, but he also gains 10k from being on the marker. That's good for him. We'll go ahead and call this here and stop. We don't need to commit anything else. But our attack pattern's a little wacky because we want him to be able to attack. So we're going to start here. So in our battle phase, we're going to swing here, 18, put this to soul, counter charge, swing here, counter blast, plus 10k. Here you can attack from the back row. So we're looking at some pretty solid numbers already. 28 twin drive, crit, obviously power. Maybe they said no guard to the Vanguard, power there, crit there. Yikes, they're dead. They died. Excuse me, sorry. I'm so sorry. I keep sneezing. So yeah, I'm already feeling like I don't like this one as much. One of the things that I'm thinking is if you want to run this order, you have to run the energy charge guy. So maybe we cut it down by 1 and then add 1 more SBC because SBC is just a soul. RPD I don't think is really going to provide that much in the long run. Maybe he probably does provide a lot. But as a guy who doesn't have a lot of belief, where is he? Levidras 2. I have plenty of belief in him. But let's say for this one I'm going second, okay? Cool. It's just kind of like I feel like RPD belongs in Zorga. And then using him in decks that aren't Zorga is criminal. So this turn, not really going to do much. I don't have any grade 1s to call to pressure with, so we're just going to battle for 1 8k. Wow, crazy, who'd have thought? They're on turn 2, so they're going to swing twice. We're going to take 1, and then we'll guard the other. Stand Dwa. Got 1 NPix in drop, so I'll go ahead and ditch the Anotogaster. Nope, I don't need to ditch. I need to use my ride line. Just free ride. I need to remember that. So then, let's see. I've got 2 SPCs. We're gonna use 1. We'll Soul Blast 1 and call NPix plus 5k. We don't have a lot of pressure this turn, but if we hit a trigger, that's good. If we don't have hit a trigger, then oh well. So drive check, no trigger. Wow, more Gaster. Swing there. So then we're going to go ahead, go into turn 3. We take a damage. We intercept and or lose a rear guard. We guard with this. We don't have a lot of guard materials, so we're going to take a good couple damage. Boom. We went up to 3 damage. Went up by 3 damage. So stand, draw, ditch a Gaster. We have too many of them anyways. So how is this deck at coming back from taking like a lot of damage? We're gonna see that, hopefully. So we're gonna go ahead and use his ability first and foremost, Counterblast 1. We'll make a marker here and then 1 over here, just so that way I have 1 in both columns. Oops. I can't take it back after doing 1, I guess. That's upsetting. Oh well. So we got NPix in drop zone. No Foxel, which means no multi-attack. So this turn we're just going to go for something clean. We're going to call her. There's 1 in the same column. Counterblast 1. Call him. He's going to gain 5k, and we're going to use his ability. Energy Blast 3, top 2. One to hand, leave the other on top. So maybe this turn, knowing that I have no friggin'... Yeah. Knowing that I don't have Foxil, I would have put it to the front row. So we're just going to pretend that's there for this turn, because I'm so smart. Yeah, so then we're just going to do a battle phase. So the numbers look a lot weaker if we miss out on our boosters or Foxil. Drive check, obviously we got our heal, boom. Get a heal, we're going to heal out the RPD so that we can call him next turn. And then second check a PG. Cool, we are tanky. So we've got 20k and 25k, no multi. Missing out on Foxil definitely hurts a lot. So we're going to retire and draw for one of our opponent's things. PG, nice. I'm glad that we saw the Foxil, by the way. Using that, we're going to guard maybe PG and get rid of... well, maybe we don't need to PG this because we need to start taking a couple damage. So we take one, ouch. We take a second, ouch. I'm pretending like this is a real game, apparently. Instead of using more copies of Gaster, we're going to PG using him. Then back to my turn. Stand and draw a Persona. So this has 10k over here because it's on a marker. Cool. I promise there's a marker there. So then we're going to move this back here. Call this here. Call this here. Nope. We're not going to do that. We're going to leave everything as it was. We're going to SBC. Soul Blast 1. Call a card. We're going to call him. Yeah. And he's going to get 5k and 10k from his own ability. And we're going to use this goober. One marker over here on this back row. And then one over there. And then we'll use the Soul Blast to put a marker over here. So then we're going to move this back. He's going to have 15k because there's now 3 or more markers and the ability to attack from the back row. He's going to get an additional 10k. And then, yeah, I should Soul Blast for the Vanguard's ability, who's also going to gain 10k and a crit. Then we're going to go ahead and resolve, which obviously this would all happen in a different order because I'm losing my freaking mind. Him, who's getting call. This turn he's just free field, so I'm just going to use his 10k ability instead to make him a 25k. Alternatively, I could have put a plant gauge here and given him a crit instead, so that way I'm swinging with multiple crits this turn. But I feel like if you are going for RPD, maybe NPix isn't your best buddy because you may want RPD in the back row so he can gain this power from Foxhill. Is what it is. I don't know if I counterblasted. Whatever. This is what's going on. We're living. I don't know if this, because it says auto when placed, and then period full stop after call it to rearguard circle, and then it says if you have 3 or more Infinity Eyes markers, this unit gets plus 10k. I think that's just on place, so I'm gonna pretend that it's on place, but feel free to let me know in the comments. So swing, counterblast 1. Give him another 10k and the ability to attack from the back row. So realistically, I really should have put this here because that's going to be big already. So yeah, we're going to power there, so that way we spread the love around. Twin drive. Woo. Whoa. Power here and heal 1. We're just going to heal whatever. So then this turn we've got now our 5 attacks. We got 30, 35, 35, and 33. So we've hit some pretty solid numbers for this last one. That being said, I will say after not much testing, like really not much testing, this is very, very minimal testing. I do like this one. I think Trigeminal Assault feels very fun. So give him a test. There's a lot of ways to potentially build this deck. There's so much you can do, but my word of advice would be to do whatever makes you happy. I feel like cutting Huli down is going to make sense. She is free field, which is good. You want free field, free advantage, free field, restanding, so bigger numbers. The only thing that's wrong with this deck is that I didn't see Huli in that first game to have a good front row rear guard, because these guys are good in the back row. So is he, which means it kind of comes down to personal preference. But I think this deck is going to be super fun. I'm super excited to see where it goes. I feel like more support will make this deck insane. They might get some back row support like NPix. Maybe they get a grade 3 that can, or when it swings from the back row, it gains power. When it swings from the front row, it gains a critical or some stupid thing like that. In which case, you would never want it in the back row. Either way, thank you guys so much for watching. Feel free to share how you feel about the deck in the comments, and feel free to share with me any thoughts that you have on my lists. That being said, you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next video.